when I look at this list of 28 guys, there's probably 10 of them on this list, 8 to 10, that did steroids. And I know there's some people that are going to mealy mouth their way around Barry Bonds. Oh, he would have hit 500 home runs without the steroids. I'm just talking about if you were tainted in any way from steroids and hit any dirty home runs. It's probably 8 to 10 of them on this list that have. And then that means the list is like 20 guys ever that hit 500 home runs. Listen to this list. Hank Aaron, Babe Ruth, Willie Mays, Griffey, Frank Robinson, Harmon Killebrew, Reggie Jackson, Mike Schmidt, Mickey Mantle, Jimmy Fox, Willie McCovey, Ted Williams, Ernie Banks, Eddie Matthews, Mel Ott, Eddie Murray. I mean, these are some of the greatest hitters of all time. That if you would go up to anybody that having a beer with at a bar, a friend of yours, you're sitting around the porch having a drink, you're watching a game and say, I got to see that guy. Be like, damn, that's cool. If you got to see any of those guys. I bought a ticket. I went to go see one of those guys. Any one of those. Wow, that must have been that's a hell of a memory. You honestly could say the same thing about Miguel Cabrera. And Cabrera doesn't have the same legacy, reputation that those other guys do. He doesn't stand out in people's minds the same way that I mentioned those other guys, but his numbers are that good. Now, the other guys on this list that are tainted, Bonds, A-Rod, Sosa, McGuire, Palmeiro, Manny, David Ortiz, that's 7 right there. So you're talking about Miguel Cabrera joining a club of the 20 greatest power hitters ever. He's also going to hit 3,000 home runs. So that means 3,000 hits, rather. Sometime next season, I think he's, 100 and some odd away. So he's definitely slowed down because of injuries. And you never know how good his seasons are going to be, but he's under contract through 2023 with the Tigers. So assuming he still wants to play, he's going to get 3,000 hits. So he'll have 3,000 hits, 500 home runs. When you look at Miguel Cabrera's numbers, they are staggering. They are truly staggering. He is now just 45 hits away. So he won't probably get 3,000 this year, but he'll get it next year. This is a guy, over the course of his career, who has won a triple crown, okay? That's the stuff of Mickey Mantle, Frank Robinson, triple crown. So batting average, home runs, and RBIs. A 2-time American League MVP, an 11-time All-Star. He's going to have hit 500 home runs and won 4 batting titles. 4. He led the American League in 2011, 2012, 2013, and 2015. 4 out of 5 years in his prime. He had the best batting average out of anybody in the American League. 344, 330, 348, 338. He's got a career 311 batting average. 500 home runs and an above 300 hitter. It's a shame that Miguel Cabrera over the last 4 seasons has fallen into such a slump, that he's so ineffective, and that the Tigers are so bad. Because the contract becomes an albatross, and the Tigers are unwatchable, and nobody's paying attention to Miguel Cabrera. But, Cabrera in the middle of that run in the early part of the teens, 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, the Tigers are in the World Series. They get swept by the Giants, but they beat the Yankees in the ALCS in 2012. They get to 3 consecutive ALCSs in 11, 12, and 13, and go to 4 straight postseasons in the years that Miguel Cabrera is the MVP. those are dominant years for the Tigers and for Miguel Cabrera at a time when Mike Ilitch wanted that elusive World Series championship and was willing to pay for whatever it took to get it. It didn't come, but they came close. 3 straight ALCSs. And it's just a bummer that the Tigers are so bad and that Cabrera is just not that effective anymore. He's not his former self because we're missing the point on just how great he once was. We're missing that point. We go back to 2007 when he was traded after the 2007 season to the Tigers. And the Tigers got Cabrera and Dontrelle Willis, remember, from the Marlins. And the Marlins got back Andrew Miller, Dallas Traherne, Eulogio De La Cruz, Burke Badenhop, Cameron Maben, and Mike Ribello. This is why, no matter what you got to give up to get the All-Star or the future Hall of Famer, you do it. Look what the Tigers gave up. Miller, Traherne, De La Cruz, Badenhop, Maben, and Ribello. If you get back the best player in the deal, if you get back the perennial All-Star, it doesn't matter how many prospects you give up. The odds are you'll always win the deal. And that's why when you covet your prospects and your minor leaguers and you won't make the deal because you're worried about this or that, it doesn't ever really, truly pan out if you feel like you're getting a perennial All-Star. Now, sometimes you're overpaying for just like the third man in your rotation. You're overpaying for like the 8th inning setup guy. You're overpaying for, a utility guy, and you don't really feel like you necessarily are getting a perennial All-Star. But if you're talking about that stud perennial All-Star, would-be Hall of Famer, there's nothing you can give up that's not worth it. Nothing. And for Cabrera, his stats, where he ranks all time statistically is otherworldly. It's really otherworldly because you're talking about a group of right-handed hitters that if you've hit 500 home runs and you have a batting average of 311 rather, you're talking about Ted Williams. You're talking about some of the greatest hitters ever. Cabrera's 5th in career batting average of anybody that's hit 500 home runs. 5th best batting average ever. Out of them, only 9 500 hitters ever have hit 300 for their careers. Adjusted career batting average is 19% better than the league average, which amongst the 500 home run club is 3rd behind Ted Williams and Babe Ruth. And the only other right-handed hitters ever in the 500 home run club that have a 300 average, Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, the Big Hurt, and Manny. In terms of the company he holds, Miguel Cabrera is one of the all-time legends.